Well, what's going on, Flyers fans, and welcome back to the Clear the Ice, a Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Hell of a game out there in St. Louis. If offense is your thing, then tonight was your game because there was absolutely no goaltending. Well, maybe not. That's not necessarily true. Bennington flashed some leather early in the game. Really a beautiful save. Sam Ersson struggled from distance, but yet he did well when it counted in the shootout. Flyers had offensive chances galore in this game. A penalty shot. I mean, boy, this is everything that makes you want to be a hockey fan. If you were watching your very first hockey game tonight, I would imagine you become a fan because this had it all, with the exception of consistent goaltending. Flyers hang on, come back, and win 6-5 in overtime. An important game. And obviously, as the game flow kind of sort of was going on in this thing, Ersson looked real shaky early on. Matter of fact, he looked shaky throughout the game. Only 17 shots faced, and he gave up 5 goals. Listen, I know they got the win, and I know they gutsied their way through and came back and were able to tie it late, down 5-3 in the third period and battled their way back into the tie. Had the opportunity in the overtime with the penalty shot, the greatest play in hockey. But boy, 17 shots faced and 5 goals surrendered by Sam Ersson. The Flyers are in a conundrum when it comes to Ersson because I don't really know if there's anything that, how much more do you got to see if you're the Flyers brain trust with him, but he's out of options. So you can't send him down. You can release him, trade him. If you release him, he's got to go through waivers, and then, potentially will make his way back down to the minor leagues, if not claimed. But, 17 shots, 5 goals. I just, it's tough for me to wrap my head around that. It's tough for me to pull positivity out of that. Bennington faced 30 shots, and he gave up 5 goals. That is what it is. But the team defense for the Flyers in 25-26 has been their best improvement. Their best strides forward for this hockey team tonight or this season has been the instill for the team defense under Rick Tocchet. Once again, doing their best that they could do tonight. And what can you say about Trevor Zegras? 3 points on the night, and to include the game-winning goal in the shootout. Did have that opportunity late in the game with the penalty shot in overtime. Obviously, when you look back at that trade and you're trading Ryan Poehling for what Trevor Zegras has given you offensively, it's not really hard to find out who won that deal. We finally won one trade with the Anaheim Ducks. I don't think we won the first one that we did with them in the Gauthier Drysdale move, but we definitely won this one, as Zegras had himself a night as the Flyers' fathers were in town to watch this game. And an important game for the team because tomorrow night, going back-to-back in Dallas, you really wanted to try to pull a point or 2 points from this one. Not necessarily going to lay down for the Stars, but, you got to play the odds a little bit here. Dallas is a vastly superior team to the Blues. It's not a program loss or scheduled loss, but obviously the odds now are favoring the Flyers to at least try to get that point tomorrow. And you got to be impressed. It's an impressive win, but there is concern still with the goaltending, and especially with one Sam Ersson. Just does not seem. I don't know what's happened to him, man. I really don't, because there was a time not too long ago where we were talking about starter Sam Ersson. Now it's hard for me to even justify his place on this hockey team. And but in a game like this, where it was back and forth, a lot of offense, the Flyers were able to find a way. And I guess you got to pull the positives from that. You got to pull the way the Flyers battled their way back and tied this thing late. Almost had a chance to win it in the overtime. Matter of fact, in that overtime, it was all Flyers. The Flyers had 4 great scoring opportunities in that overtime. And Jordan Bennington, was flashing the leather in overtime. both goalies struggled from the distance this night. Both goalies struggled from trying to make saves. That slot was a lethal area for both teams tonight. But the Flyers found a way to hang it on and get the 2 points, get the win, and now moving to the 20-point threshold in the season. 21 points now for the Flyers as they go to, 9-5-3 on the year. And as Steve adequately points out, 4-0 in the shutout. No, I don't think it's upside down. that's what it is. 4-0 in not the shutout, 4-0 in the shootout so far this season. Off to one of the best shootout records of any recent Flyers team. And then you got the win. Ricky, what's going on? Go Flyers. Matt, are the phone lines over? They are not, Ricky. This is the post-game show. We're going to get through this rapid fire-wise, and no phone lines tonight. And it's great to be back on the post-game. Yeah, I had you the other night filling in for Mike Laro. Filling in, this was my game to do, but I will be back tomorrow night because Mike Laro will also be out as he's taking the weekend to sort of kind of clear some things out, dealing with some personal stuff. So I will be here. It's a trifecta of Matty B on the Clear the Ice program. I had you Wednesday, I have you tonight, and I will be back tomorrow night for Flyers and Stars and an entertaining game. As I said, if this was your very first hockey game, first time you've ever been exposed to hockey at any level, I think you were made a fan tonight, and rightfully so. Very entertaining game. All right, let's work our way through this. This is a lot to break down, a lot of goals to go over. I'm going to try to give video on every single one of them. We're going to walk through the who's it's and what's it's of all these goals. Let's start with some of the admin stuff. Flyers healthy scratches tonight. Adam Ginning, Igor Zamula, and Nikita Garbrakin. For the Blues, Nick Berstrad, Alexander Texer, and Tyler Tucker were the scratches for healthy-wise for the Blues in this hockey game. Goaltending, again, Jordan Binnington got the nod. He faced 31 shots, not 30, I guess, 31 shots. They must have added a shot there at the end. 26 saves for a .839 save percentage. Not good, but it is a lot better than what we got from Urson, as Urson faced 17 shots and finishes the night with a .705 or .706 save percentage. As again, 17 shots, 5 goals. It's hard for me to kind of, feel good about that, but hey, they got the win. And Urson came up big when needed. Let's roll with the goals because there's a lot to do. The Blues would get on the board first at the 119 mark of the first period. Jordan Koivu, his 6th. It was unassisted. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. Again, it's going to be a common theme that you're going to see tonight. A lot of slot play, a lot of passes in that slot for both teams. Again, the slot was a very lethal area tonight for both the Flyers and the Blues in this hockey game. Let's get Koivu's goal going here. Oh man, we got all right. Here we go. So we're going to pick up play in the Flyer zone. This is also going to be a benefit of a turnover. Zegras, all over the score sheet tonight, all over the ice tonight, all over this game. Some good, mostly good, but some bad. And this is going to be one of the bad ones here as the Flyers will attempt to get it out of the zone. Zegras with the no look, the infamous ill-advised, I'm going to be the smartest guy on the ice. I'm going to give you the whole, I'm not looking at you, but I'm going to give you the little touch pass, no look. But yet you got a guy that is looking right here on center ice. He's reading this thing all the way, and they're going to jump the pass. And actually, it was a bad pass because nobody broke on it. But the Blues will transition the other way. But to the Flyers' benefit, or to the Flyers' defense, they get back, and the Flyers got numbers. Listen, I'm okay with this. I truly am. You got one-on-one situation, and you got 5 guys coming back into the play. He's got no help. He's on an island. You got to do something quick here because this is a low percentage scoring opportunity. So I'm okay with how this sort of breaks down to begin with. Urson's got a clean look. He's got a clean look. He makes the nothing. He makes the nothing as it's right on by his far side there. Again, a common theme all night long, a common theme all season long for the Flyers goaltenders. Both him and Vladar do struggle with distance and elevation. And before you even get comfortable in your seat, it is 1-0 St. Louis. Let's kind of look at it again. As I said, it's not optimal. It is a turnover. It's not an odd man rush per se. It's a break-in. It's an opportunity, but it's a clean look. I mean, he's got no help, and you got 5 Flyers converging on the play. It's okay. It should be okay to leave your goaltender out on the island. And look at the Flyers close it in on the proper angles, basically leaving just this. And we've talked about this on this program. The bad ice versus good ice. Bad ice is everything from the dot to the wall. Good ice is everything from the dot to the dot, right? That's good ice. He is on the bad ice side of good bad ice. And you really should be able to make this save. It's hard for me to say, well, it was a tough shot. It's not. It's an easy shot. It's a shot that's got to be saved. Urson was completely handcuffed on it. They go far side, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. And I was personally like, oh, no. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Matt, can I remind you to open the phone lines tomorrow? Yeah, but Ricky, I'll be back on postgame. I am not going to be opening the phone lines on. We don't do it on postgame, or I don't do it on postgame. I don't know if the other guys will, but I'm not doing it on postgame, Ricky. I'm sorry. We're just going to do that on my show. But the Flyers would get back into this thing at the 8:19 mark. Trevor Zegras is 5th from Dvorak, his 7th. Sanheim is 5th. It was the first good thing that Trevor Zegras did on the night. Let's pull it up. Where is it? Flyers 2. There we go. Let's get this goal keyed up for you. All right. It never fails, man. I get the games that are like, 6-5, 5-5. I never get the 1-0. I always got to break down 1,000 goals in these games. Never, ever fails. You just really get accustomed to it by this point. All right. So plays inside the blue zone, behind the net. Flyers are going to actually get a little bit of a break here as it kind of is kept in by Tippett behind the net. Oh, this ain't the right goal. I got the wrong goal. All right. So that ain't the right goal. I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to lose track of these damn things. Which one is it? Which one? Let's see if it's this one. I knew that was going to happen, man. There's too many goals to keep track of. No, that's not it. Oh, man. All right, let's see this one. This might be it. Nope. All right, I don't have it. So I do not have that goal. Sorry about that. I knew it was going to happen. I knew there was too many of them. The Blues would get back in the lead at the 9:42 mark of the first period. Jimmy Sonnengård, his 5th from Thomas, to make it 2-1. Let's see if this one's right. I think this should be right. Yep, this is the right goal. This is the right one. So, of course, I got all the Blues goals right. Tells you something. All right. All right, Flyers are going to actually we're going to pick up play in the Flyer offensive zone. Once again, we're going to have another turnover. This time it's Konechny. I think it's borderline giveaway, but it's going to create a break. It's going to create an odd man rush. Well, it's going to create a one-on-one. But the Flyers are able to sweep it away, gain control again. They're going to bring it back, but they lose it. And then we do have a one-on-one. Now, here's the thing. Again, look at the way they get back, and that's pretty good. As you can see, this play sort of like developing. They got a lucky bounce, and they were able to retain possession, but they were able to get back on it. Good angle here. I think it's Sanheim trying to break it down. He's going to run it down. He's going to stop the player, and then I'm digging this. I'm digging the way they're covering. Again, this is that new team defense concept, but once again, we're going to get a semi-clean look in the slot, and it handcuffs Urson as he goes down to his knees too soon. and the puck goes right over that midpoint of his arm, his elbow area, and you got a 2-1 St. Louis Blue lead. I mean, it's a common theme all year long with both goaltenders, but I do like the fact the way the Flyers were able to get back and try to mitigate the damage there, and I think they did. It's just you got to make that initial save. You really do. That would be the end of the scoring for the first period. Shots on that period were 8-8, and we would get to the second period with the Flyers trailing 2-1. It would be 3-1 at the 6:54 mark of the second. Justin Falk, his fourth from Fowler and Sundqvist to give the Blues the early 2-goal advantage. And this was definitely at the part of the game where I was starting to get very concerned that this was going to get away from the Flyers. Urson wasn't getting that much work, but the work he was getting, it was confusing him. And we're going to take a look at this goal here. Take a look at this bad boy. All right. Pick and play up at the face-off. Christian Dvorak taking the draw for the Flyers as they will lose possession. And it goes back. The Blues will set it up. Back to the point. You're going to get a shot. And we got a goal. See, that's simple, man. So let's try to, it's a clean look. It's a low percentage play at the blue line. This is one of those shots that they're just hoping to get a rebound from, and they get Urson, and they go far side again, and it's 3-1. And that's, again, this is the goal that broke my back a little bit in this game. Not relying on the Flyers' offensive ability to come back from a 2-goal deficit, especially the way these goals have been going in. 3 very questionable goals given up by Sam Urson to start this hockey game. And if it hadn't been for the back-to-back, I wonder if it wasn't a back-to-back scenario, I wonder whether Tocchet would have made a move there to replace him. Because, as I said, I think maybe 10 shots at this point faced and 3 goals at this point allowed. And the goal, the quality of goal is really it's where it goes. It's set that he's getting beat far side. They're going the same place every single time. And it seems to not be able to get Urson any kind of, I don't know, help, protection. I don't know what you want to call it, but Urson was struggling. But the Flyers, to their credit, would begin the comeback trail less than a minute later. Christian Dvorak at 7:17, his fourth from Tippett and Andre to get the Flyers back into this thing at 3-2. Let's see if this is the right goal for the Flyers. I might have screwed all the Flyers goals up here. Let's see if this is the right one. Let me see. I think this was the right one. Yep, this is the right one. So there we go. Maybe I just don't have the Flyers' first goal, which is weird. But all right, let's key this thing up. That was the goal from earlier that I had mislabeled. All right. So the play is from behind the St. Louis Blue net. The Flyers are going to pressure it. They're going to be able to keep it in here. Tippett's going to knock it down. He's going to kick it back across. Flyers are going to scrum for it, get possession of the puck behind the net, kind of kicks off some skates, some over pursuit, but the Flyers are able to pounce on it. Ref's giving out the good signal because it wasn't a high stick. And then there's going to be a little battle for it. Flyers, again, a scrappy team, a scrappy bunch this year. They're winning a lot of battles along the boards, which is tonight at least, they were winning a lot of battles. They're going to set up an offense here. We're going to get the one-timer from the point, and you're going to get a nice, fat, juicy rebound. Then they're going to set it up again for another shot, and that clacks around, bangs, and is left out in front, and then there is Dvorak to clean it up to get the Flyers back to within 1 goal there. As I said, that goal was a hard-working goal. That was a lot of hard work by the Flyers to maintain possession of the puck, battle along the boards. They got the shot out from the point. They got the fat rebound. They got the rebound. They got the additional shot. And then they let the pinball effect happen. And Dvorak was able to tip it in there as Binnington was sort of sprawling for his life to make it 3-2. Flyers would then get the equalizer about 10 minutes or so, 11 minutes later. Trevor Zegras, his second of the night, his 6th on the year from Andre and Tippett to tie it up at 3. Let's see if am I going to go 2 for 2 here? How did I miss the Flyers' first goal, man? Are you insane? I missed the first one of the night. Oh, wait, there it is right there. Yep, I got this one right. All right. All right, play is going to come into the blue zone. Flyers running down the puck here. You got Tippett doing some good work. He's able to maintain and keep the puck in. That's what you want to do there. He's going to control the puck. He's going to get some separation. And then the Flyers are going to try to set up for something here. A lot of time with the puck, looking for someone to pass it to. We're going to go back to the point, and we're going to get a shot on net, and we're going to get a nice, pretty deflection as Zegras was sort of kind of behind the defense, and he gets the deflection to make it 3-3 at this point. Listen, what is different between the Flyers now than it was a month ago? And I think it's pretty obvious. This team has not changed its offensive identity. They are who they are player-wise, but they are taking a little bit more opportunities with the puck towards the net. It's not a secret, right? You get pucks on net, good things tend to happen. If it's not goals, it's rebounds, it's caroms, it's deflections, it's all those things. They seem to have simplified their offensive game down a little bit. Again, I don't like necessarily the perimeter game, but it does have a part in fundamental hockey and sort of to initiate the offensive play, right? I'm not saying you got to take every shot from in front of the net, but getting those rebounds, being able to capitalize on getting pucks to the net and getting bodies to the net. The Flyers are not a team that's built like that, but they're winning these battles and they're getting those rebounds. Tonight was a big thing there, and we have ourselves a 3-3 game at this point. Big time battle to get back into this game, especially with the shaky play of Sam Ersson. That would be your score heading into the second intermission. In that period, the Flyers were all over the Blues, 11-4, out shooting them, but one of those 4 shots was a goal for the Blues. Before we start talking about the third period, I do want to highlight a play from the second period. Jordan Bennington, the Flyers had an opportunity in this game, in this period, to score more. And I'm going to talk about one of these opportunities right here. Bennington has fallen somewhat from the heavens since he emerged or came on the scene in that magical year a few years back where he took over the starting job, around Christmas. The Blues I think they were a worse team than the Flyers at that point. They went on this magical run, were able to get in as a 6th seed in the Western Conference and then ride that all the way to a Stanley Cup championship. And Jordan Bennington was one of the reasons, if not the main reason, they were able to do that. But since then, it's been a mixed bag of return for him as a goalie. He's a competent starting goalie in this league, but he came into this game with a goals against average higher than Ersson's, more work, but higher than Ersson's. So it's been sort of a again, mixed bag with him since that initial magical Stanley Cup run. But I do want you to take a look at this play because this is some of what Bennington can do. The Flyers are collapsing down. The puck is going to come in. This is a really interesting play as Bennington's going to. The Flyers get control. They're going to put it on puck. He gets saved there by the post. The puck then caroms all over the place. It pops in between them, and that's pretty. Right? I don't care who you are. That's a pretty goal as he's sprawling backwards to throw out that hand to make the save to keep the game. Well, it would have been 4-3 Flyers at the second intermission, but to keep the game tied. But that is some of the work that Jordan Bennington can do when given an opportunity, and it was just very pretty to keep the Flyers off the scoreboard there. Beautiful reactionary type save from him with that hand sprawling out. So we'll enter the third period 3-3, but the Blues would get back in the lead less than a minute into the third at the 42nd mark. Dylan Holloway, his 5th from Koivu and Fowler. 4-3 Blues now at this point. Let's bring this goal up if I have it. I would think I would. Again, one of those head-shaking moments for the Flyers as you're watching this game and the goals, and you're wondering, at this point, again, I wondered it in the second period. I didn't honestly think he was going to make a move to get rid of him or to replace him because of the back-to-back. You gotta be cognizant of the fact they're playing the Stars tomorrow night. But Urson did not do anything to win over any sort of confidence for me tonight. Let's watch the puck as the Blues are going to enter the Flyer zone. Again, very well defended here. I gotta give props. I love what they're doing defensively. We're going to get a puck right into the upper edge of the slot, upper edge, and then what's going to happen? Well, what's been happening all night, a clean look in that upper slot area, a shot with a little bit of elevation, a shot that goes this time short side, and it delivers the same result, a handcuffed Sam Urson, and we got a 4-3 St. Louis Blue lead. It's just remarkable, honestly, that he can't make that save. Then the Blues would pile it on about 5 minutes later. Now, again, the 42nd mark is less than a minute into the period. We talked about this a billion times. You don't want to give up those goals late in the period. You don't want to give them up early. Really kind of deflates everything. But the Flyers hung around. Well, they didn't really hang around because 5 minutes later, we got Robert Thomas with his third goal of the year from Sundgaard to make it 5-3. And at this point, I really thought, oh, God, we're going to lose this game, and then we're going to have to go into Dallas tomorrow night, and you're going to have to try to get a point out of that. It's really kind of putting the Flyers at a disadvantage, going back-to-back between, the Blues and the Stars. It's just it wasn't going to work, but let's take a look at this goal. Maybe this goal can get a little bit more maybe we can talk more technical goal scoring with this goal. Maybe this goal was not so cut and dry. Maybe we can break down instills, we can break down plays, we can break down shifts, we can break down rotations. Let's see what we got here. Let's run it. They're in the Flyers offensive zone. Puck's going to go back around the net. Again, very well defended. We got a body out front. You got Nick Seeler hanging out back there. You got one person behind the net, which is fine. It should be the center. Again, really look at the way the Flyers. This is, again, look at that. This was something that was not very evident last season with this with the John Tortorella thing. Look how they just collapse down instinctively. The wingers are going to collapse down. You got your defense, which typically should be here. Now, this guy's probably, I can't really tell. It should be the center. But they're going to collapse down, almost taking a hybrid, because the wings are here. The wings are not up at the point. They're boxed in too. It's a hybrid. I don't even know how you call it. It's a hybrid defensive formation. It's really, I love it. I love keeping the net clean. But the Blues are going to get it in the slot, and what happens? Yep. I'm sorry. I guess we're not going to be able to break down a technical goal because this time it was along the ice. So I'll give you that. There was no elevation on that goal, but look where he shoots it from. He shoots it from that upper dot slot area. Again, another clean look as Urson is down and he slides basically past the puck as it goes far side. And you got 5-3. Now, again, devil's advocate. If this wasn't a back-to-back, if you were the coach of the Flyers, would you have seen enough at that point and said, you know what? Come on, Urson, you got to go. But the Flyers stuck with Urson for whatever reason. If it was for, we're going to give him a chance to pull it together, or we just can't afford to go with another goalie at this particular point, it worked because Urson, that would be the only goal. That would be it. No more goals for Urson allowed in this game. Flyers would begin their comeback about 4 minutes later. Christian Dvorak, again, his fifth of the night, or his fifth of the season, not of the night, his second of the night, to get the Flyers back within one. Let's see if that goal's correct. Maybe I just screwed up with the first one. How would I miss the first goal? I don't know what I did there. Let's see if this is the right one. So we got 5-3 at this point. Yeah, wow, this is the right goal. Just had one of them mislabeled. So 5-3 at this point now as the Flyers will get back into this thing. Let's bring this up. All right, the puck is transitioning back. Flyers are in their zone, looking to get possession to get out of the zone. We're going to bang it off the boards. We're going to hope for something. Maybe we get a little bit of a break there as the defenseman sort of kind of backpedals a little bit, sort of loses his footing. Flyers are going to put a little pressure, a little forecheck, right? Or a little back check, sorry. A little back check going on there, a little pressure. Then we're going to get a break. We got a giveaway. 53 was kind of clumsy on his skates to start the play, and now he's falling all over the place. Flyers are going to take advantage of it. We got something happening. Obviously, so let's talk hockey 101. So you got a situation like this. The Flyers don't necessarily have possession of the puck, but first two guys inside the zone, this would be considered the puck handler. And again, I'm talking offensively. You're taught this as a young kid. If you're entering the offensive zone and you're the puck handler, your job is to go to the net, obviously, because that's what you're going to drive the net. Or no, you're going to drive wide. Now, obviously, the play is taking Tippett wide because he doesn't have the puck. This guy up here, his job is to go to the net, and that's what they teach you as a young player. And but you got to be careful because you don't want to get caught in a transitional. But then Zegras is going to that's Dvorak. He's going to notice that there's a little bit of a turnover. He's going to get positioned down low, and he's wide open. Now it's just a matter of trying to get that puck to him. What do you do? And Dvorak just puts it up as you have a couple options there. That was Zegras, not Dvorak, that went low. You had a couple options. You could have been a pass there, but obviously that's the best option because if you don't get the goal, you possibly get a rebound, and you got Zegras standing all alone in the goal mouth to try to get the goal. But it worked, and it was now 5-4 as the Flyers are on the comeback trail. They would get this thing evened up about two and a half minutes later. Owen Tippett, his sixth at the 10:29 mark, about midway through the third period. His sixth of the year from Zegras and Juleson make it 5-5 as the comeback, as the Flyers were able to get right back into this thing, tie it up. And let's see if this one's right. Let's see if I have you there for the fifth goal. Let's see. All right. Waiting for this to load up. This happened to me the other night, so just be patient with me. But again, a lot of character with the Flyers trying to get back into this game. And tonight they were rewarded here as we got the fifth goal up. Let's get it keyed up here. Let's put it up on the screen. Let's put it up on the screen. All right. Puck now kind of down here on the half wall inside the St. Louis Blues zone. Let's pick it up where the Flyers will gain possession of it. We're going to set up into an basic offensive set. You're going to create that screen. People are going to try to find a lane to open into. We're going to get a nice little puck up at the zone. Everyone now kind of fans out. And now we're going to look to say shot. No, we got a pass. And now this, you should have kind of did the shot, but we're going to get Tippett sitting down in that slot. He's going to come break down, and it's good to see Owen Tippett with the goal there. It's good to see Owen Tippett score from distance. It's good to see Owen Tippett hit the net at distance, as we've seen this billions of times from him. He's got a lethal shot, but the problem is it's one of the most inaccurate shots in all of hockey. But there, kind of breaking in or sitting down inside the zone, walking in, the defense was crashed down a little bit low to try to prevent a pass down low, and left Bennington out there. It's one of those clean looks, but Tippett with that very lethal shot, and it's lethal. It's just not very accurate. But on that one, it was, and the Flyers get the 5-5 tie, and that is how regulation would end. In the third period, the Flyers outshot the Blues 6-4, and then it's on to overtime, which was one of the more spirited overtimes I've seen in a minute. 4 solid scoring opportunities for the Flyers in that overtime, but Bennington was to the task. Matter of fact, officially for the overtime, the Flyers outshot the Blues 6-1, and there was some controversy at the end of the overtime period. I don't think that goal or that play, as time was expiring, I think it clanged off the inside of the post. I don't know if it crossed the goal line, but they didn't bother reviewing it because it was ruled to have been shot after the clock had gone to 0. So, but yeah, it was a really fun offensive overtime for the Flyers, highlighted by the Zegras penalty shot. And for those of you that are at home, and I was sort of, when I saw the play occur, Zegras was sort of coming, he just came over the blue line or the red line or blue line, just into the zone. He gets pulled down, and, my instant thought was, okay, I mean, you got to have three things to happen for a penalty shot. Three things have to exist in order for the refs to call a penalty shot. The one thing is it has to be a breakaway, meaning there has to be nobody in front of the player. The player has to be all alone against the goaltender. Number two, he has to be pulled down from the back or from the side. And number three, you have to deem that his breakaway or what he was doing at the time of the penalty, it eliminated an imminent scoring opportunity. Now, obviously, you got the first two. There was nobody in behind him. He was breaking in. So that meets that parameter. He was pulled down from behind. That meets that parameter. The only other parameter, which I questioned for a second, was, is that an imminent scoring opportunity from the distance that he was pulled down from? Or could the refs have deemed it to be too far out? And you know what? We're just going to give you the 2-minute power play, but they did not. And again, it could have went either way. But yes, it met all three of the criteria for a penalty shot. Zegras was awarded the penalty shot and was unable to get the game winner there, as he was visibly frustrated with himself going over to the bench. His dad was on hand watching from upstairs there. What the hell was Gritty doing at the game? Gritty was there. The whole band was there, man. Gritty, the Flyers' dads, they're all made the trip to St. Louis. I imagine they're headed to Dallas as well. But his dad was kind of, kind of got a little upset there that Zegras missed it. But the Flyers were able to come back in the shootout, led by Trevor Zegras and his goal, and they get the 6-5 win in the shootout. And a lot of stuff that was going on in that hockey game tonight. A lot of stuff, but fun, very fun. And the Flyers with the win, and they will take their act on the road to the Big D tomorrow against a very talented Dallas Star team, more than likely. 99.9% chance. Dan Vladar is your starter tomorrow. As one, I don't think you go back to Urson, even if you had to. And two, they're not going to go back to Urson. So we'll see where the Flyers fan out with that one. And I'll be here tomorrow night. Hopefully it's not another 11 goals to break down or 10 goals to break down, but I'll be here with you, take you through the post game of the Flyers and Dallas Stars immediately following tomorrow night's game. So make sure you're back here with me. And here's our lineup for the rest of the weekend. Tomorrow, there will be no Happy Valley Huddle. Again, Mike Laro stepping out for the weekend about taking care of some personal issues. He'll be back next Tuesday for the locks, props, and parlays, but there will be no Happy Valley Huddle tomorrow. And then I will have you tomorrow night, post-game Flyers and Stars. Sunday, we have not I got to talk to Al about the Sunday morning show. This is supposed to be their weekend debut of the new program, Philly AM. So I don't know if we're going to do it without Mike. So we might put that off for a week until next Sunday. So there'll be more information coming out about that. Then we got Steel City pre and post game Steelers and Bengals, and then the Eagles Lions post game tomorrow night. Again, somebody will be hosting that show. I don't know yet who it will be, but somebody will be there for that game, whether it's me or it's Al, or maybe it's me and Al. We'll see. But we'll definitely have that game covered for you with that as well. So Flyers win 6-5 in the shootout. Fun game to watch. Fun game to be part of. Sam Urson, have you seen enough to know that we've seen too much? 17 shots, 5 goals allowed. And every goal, as we looked at tonight, had the same common theme: distance, right? In the shootout, Urson was perfect. In the shootout, in the breakaways, Urson was good. It was just from distance. Urson struggles. Urson has struggled. And it's a technical thing there. That's a technique that's failing him. And I don't know how you break that. He has the tendency to go down way too early. He leaves a whole bunch of that net open. I don't know. Vladar has the same problem. Dan Vladar has the same issue. Both Flyers goalies struggle from distance. And but the question with Urson now is, have you seen enough to know you've seen too much? He's out of options. Flyers, if they want to make a move with Urson, they got to release him or trade him. And if that's the case, I don't know if anybody scoops him up. Doubt it. But then you got to bring up Kovasov. Or you bring up the young man, Carson Bjornsson. You start looking down there and say, you know what? Let's get the next contestant in the goalie is right to get him up here and see what he can do. But I'm not really certain how much longer you can go with Erson as, let's call him what he is, the backup. Let's be honest with ourselves. There is not a 1A, 1B situation here. It's Vladar as the starter and Erson the backup. How much more can you go with Erson as your backup? 17 shots faced tonight, 5 goals allowed for a 7.06 save percentage. Not going to cut it at the NHL level, young man. That's going to do it for me tonight, guys. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you hanging in there. Watch a 10-goal breakdown of the Clear the Ice program. Sorry about not having that first goal keyed up. I don't know what happened there, but we got through it anyway. I will be back tomorrow night to break down Flyers Stars. Until then, you guys have a great Friday night. Enjoy your Saturday, your weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow night when the clock goes quadruple zero for the Clear the Ice Flyers Stars postgame. Until then, in the immortal words of Mr. Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.